What really happens if you don't have sex after 60? Is it just something we naturally grow out of? Or could the absence of intimacy affect more than we think? Most people assume that after 60, things like sex, closeness, and desire quietly disappear, like an old photo tucked away in a drawer. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if letting go of intimacy actually triggers changes in your body, your mind, and your heart in ways no one warned you about? As a doctor who has spent decades working with older adults, I've seen firsthand the quiet, powerful impact that intimacy, or the lack of it, can have. And while it's easy to dismiss these changes as just aging, the truth might surprise you. This isn't about taboos, it's about health, it's about connection, and it's about understanding what really happens beneath the surface when we stop being close to one another. Whether you're navigating these questions yourself or simply wondering what you need to prepare for, you need to know this because intimacy doesn't just fade. Sometimes it fades with consequences. Before we dive into what you may never have been told, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. This space is built for honest, science-backed human conversations about aging and well-being. All right, let's begin. Number 1, emotional intimacy fades when love turns quiet. Eleanor and Frank had been married for 43 years. Their home was quiet now, too quiet. They still shared meals, still watched the evening news together, still reminded each other to take their medications. But they hadn't touched, really touched, in over a year. Frank once held her hand every morning before coffee. Eleanor used to kiss his shoulder when he folded laundry. Those small rituals, the silent affirmations of affection, had slipped away. Neither could say exactly when. It hadn't been a fight or a betrayal, just time, just life, just age. But Eleanor began to feel something she never expected in marriage: loneliness. Here's what most people don't talk about. Emotional distance isn't always loud. Sometimes it grows like dust, layer by layer, one unspoken night at a time. And without physical intimacy, that emotional bridge quietly crumbles. Sex isn't just about the body, it's about presence. It's about being seen fully, vulnerably, and without performance. It's about saying, I still want you. You still matter to me. When couples stop expressing that desire, something shifts. Conversations become logistical. Touch becomes accidental. And suddenly you're two people in the same house, but on opposite shores. Science backs this up. Studies show that emotional connection thrives on touch, eye contact, shared space, and yes, intimacy. Without it, hormones like oxytocin and dopamine decline. Mood darkens, empathy fades. And over time, we stop reaching for each other, even when we crave closeness the most. I've seen it in my patients, the woman who swears she's fine, but cries when I ask if she feels loved. The man who complains of restless sleep, but truly just misses holding someone. Loneliness, especially in old age, isn't a poetic sadness. It's a health risk. It's been linked to heart disease, depression, cognitive decline. It ages you faster than cigarettes. And it often begins not when someone leaves, but when intimacy does. So if you've felt that quiet growing between you and your partner, don't ignore it. Name it gently, without blame. Reach for their hand, sit closer on the couch. Talk not about chores, but about how you miss them. Sometimes all it takes is one touch to begin again. Let's not keep this a silent struggle. If this story stirred something in you, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. We're building a community that talks openly about aging, love, and life. And if you have a question or a story like Eleanor's, drop it in the comments below. Your words might help someone else feel less alone. Number 2, when the mirror grows quiet, confidence in the shadows. Walter used to stand tall, even in his 60s. He had a slight limp from a knee surgery, sure, but he still tucked in his shirt and walked with pride. These days, though, he avoids mirrors. He's not sure when it started. Maybe after his wife passed, maybe after the comments stopped, the little compliments, the playful glances. Maybe after intimacy left his life. He still sees friends, still plays cards on Sundays. But there's a way he holds himself now, shoulders slightly slumped, smile unsure. Something has gone quiet inside him. Confidence doesn't just fade because of wrinkles or gray hair. It fades when we stop being reminded that we matter. Physically, emotionally, sexually. Touch affirms. Desire validates. When you're embraced, kissed, reached for, it signals something deeper than attraction. It says, you're still alive. You're still wanted. Without that, the inner dialogue can turn cruel. I'm too old for this. No one would want me. I shouldn't even try my. Over time, we begin to pull back, not because we've given up, but because we no longer feel seen. And here's the hardest truth. Even in long marriages, this happens. A partner's silence can feel louder than any insult. When affection disappears, we often interpret it as rejection, even if it wasn't meant that way. Sexuality isn't reserved for the young, nor is self-worth. In fact, aging gives us a new intimacy, one rooted in trust, familiarity, and resilience. But if we stop believing we're deserving of it, we begin to close off. The body listens to the mind. Posture changes, eye contact drops, laughter fades. And not because of pain, but because we've convinced ourselves that desire is behind us. But I'll tell you what I told Walter. It's not too late. Confidence isn't loud. It begins with small permissions. To wear the shirt you like, to look someone in the eye, to touch and be touched, to feel beautiful, not because you are the same as before, but because you've become more. There's power in being seen, and even more in sharing your truth. If this resonates with you, take a second to subscribe. We talk about real issues that matter, especially those no one else dares to say aloud. And if you've ever felt like Walter or found a way back to confidence, share your experience in the comments. It might be exactly what someone else needs today. Number 3, when the silence gets loud, how intimacy calms the storm. Jennifer was never one to panic. She raised 4 kids, buried 2 siblings, survived breast cancer. But lately something small, missing keys, a loud truck, the wrong tone in a text would send her spiraling. Her chest would tighten, her hands would shake. Her doctor prescribed something for anxiety, but the pills only dulled the edge. The tension stayed. What Jennifer didn't realize, and what many don't, is that stress in older age is a quiet thief. It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it hides behind restlessness, irritability, or exhaustion. And one of the most overlooked causes? The absence of physical intimacy. You see, during intimate moments, whether it's sex, touch, or even cuddling, the body releases a powerful cocktail of calming chemicals. Oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. These aren't just feel-good hormones. They are biological regulators, stabilizing mood, easing anxiety, and grounding the nervous system. Without these moments, the body loses one of its oldest tools for managing emotional storms. Tension lingers longer, recovery from stress takes more effort, and small worries grow teeth. I've seen it countless times. A widower who starts snapping at his grandkids, a retired couple suddenly arguing over trivial things. Beneath it all, disconnection, a body missing its natural rhythm of relief. Intimacy is not just pleasure, it's pressure release. And no, this doesn't mean everyone must have sex regularly, but physical connection in any form, a held hand, a gentle hug, even sitting close enough to feel someone breathe, triggers the brain to feel safe, soothed, home. When that disappears, we are left alone with our stress. And over time, it hardens into anxiety. So if you found yourself more on edge, more tired, less patient, it might not be just aging. It might be a body missing what once helped carry the weight. If this spoke to you, don't hold it in. Click subscribe so you don't miss honest conversations like this one. We explore the human side of aging. And if stress has crept into your life, or if you've found healing through connection, share your thoughts below. Someone reading might just exhale for the first time today because of you. Number 4, sleep becomes a struggle when the nights grow restless. Robert used to sleep like a stone. He'd fall asleep watching baseball and wake up with the sun. But these days, sleep escapes him. He tosses, turns, stares at the ceiling. Sometimes he gets up just to feel the quiet of the house until the quiet feels too loud. His doctor called it age-related insomnia. But when Robert and I sat down, something deeper surfaced. He missed his late wife, not just her voice or her cooking, but her warmth beside him, the shared breath between two people who knew each other too well to need words. What many forget is this: sleep is not just a biological process, it's an emotional one. And one of the most powerful natural sleep aids we have as humans? Intimacy. During sex or deep physical closeness, our bodies release prolactin, a hormone that promotes relaxation. We also release oxytocin, the cuddle hormone, which soothes anxiety and reduces cortisol, our primary stress hormone. This cocktail doesn't just make us feel good, it prepares us to rest. Without intimacy, the body must navigate nightfall without its built-in calming mechanisms. And so, we lie awake, not always because we're worried, but because our nervous system was never told. It's safe now, you can let go. The irony is many older adults are prescribed sleeping pills when what they truly need is connection. Not necessarily sex, but warmth, touch, reassurance. Something simple like someone's hand grazing yours in the dark. I've had patients report better sleep after reintroducing small rituals of closeness, hugging before bed, back rubs, shared breathing exercises. Our bodies remember these rhythms even when our minds forget. Reclaiming them can restore not just sleep, but a sense of peace. Robert didn't need stronger medication. He needed to stop sleeping in a bed that had become too big, too cold, and too quiet. He started by putting a pillow on the other side of the bed, not to replace, but to remind. And that first night, he slept a little better. Struggling with sleep? You're not alone. If this part of the journey resonates with you, go ahead and hit subscribe. We're having real conversations about what truly keeps us awake. And if you've found a small way to bring comfort back into your nights, share it below. Your story might help someone else finally find rest. Number 5, your brain takes a hit when the mind grows foggy. Clara was always sharp, a crossword queen, the kind of woman who remembered birthdays, movie lines, and where you left your keys, even if you didn't ask. But lately, she's been forgetting words. Not big ones, just the kind that used to come effortlessly. She blames it on getting older, but she knows something else has changed. What Clara didn't realize is that intimacy plays a surprising role in brain health. And as she grew more isolated, especially after her divorce, her world got quieter, not just emotionally, but neurologically. During physical intimacy, the brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, neurotransmitters that light up the brain's reward system, reduce stress, and enhance memory and learning. These aren't just fleeting highs. They are fundamental to how the brain stays active, alert, alive. When intimacy fades, when we stop being touched, seen, desired, those pathways begin to quiet down. Over time, cognitive fog creeps in. You forget appointments, misplaced thoughts. You feel less in harm, less quick, less you. Think of the brain like a garden. Every hug, every kiss, every shared breath is a drop of water. Take away the water and slowly the flowers droop. Not overnight, but inevitably. I've had patients come in terrified they're developing dementia, when really they were just lonely, touch-starved, disconnected from the very chemicals their brains had relied on for decades to feel sharp and safe. The good news? This process can be reversed. Reconnecting through intimacy, touch, shared laughter can reignite those dormant systems. Clara started attending a local dance class, more for closeness than choreography. Within weeks, she felt brighter. Words came easier. Her eyes sparkled again. The brain doesn't just need puzzles, it needs presence. Let's keep the conversation alive, just like your mind. If you want more insights like this, subscribe now. This channel is here to explore the unseen truths about aging. And if you've experienced memory fog or found ways to stay mentally sharp, drop your thoughts below. Your experience matters. It might be the light someone else needs. Number 6, muscles and joints. Lose vitality, the slow fade you don't see coming. George always prided himself on staying active. He wasn't lifting weights at 80, but he still mowed his own lawn, carried groceries, danced with his daughter at her wedding. Then, little by little, things changed. His knees began to ache. His steps grew shorter. Getting up from the couch required both hands and a soft grunt. He blamed it on getting older. But something else had faded too, his intimacy with his partner. Since her surgery, they hadn't been close. And without realizing it, his body had begun to slow with his spirit. Most people don't associate sexual activity with mobility, but the connection is real, and it's powerful. Intimacy is movement. It engages the hips, the back, the core. It improves balance, strengthens small, stabilizing muscles, and promotes flexibility. It's a natural form of exercise, not intense, but consistent, not forced, but flowing. When that movement disappears, the body adapts, but not in a good way. Muscles weaken, joints stiffen, range of motion narrows, and suddenly reaching for a cup on the top shelf becomes a calculated risk. It's not about turning the bedroom into a gym. It's about understanding that the absence of physical intimacy can quietly lead to physical decline, not just from lack of exertion, but from loss of motivation, of energy, of the very things that once made you feel alive. George told me he didn't realize how much his body relied on that connection. He thought passion was a thing of the past. But when he and his wife started rebuilding that part of their life, even gently, his body responded. He stood straighter, walked steadier, laughed easier. The body, like the heart, remembers what vitality feels like. Want to keep your strength, your mobility, your spark? Let's grow stronger together. Hit subscribe to follow this journey. We cover the truths about aging most people never say out loud. And if you've noticed changes in your body or found ways to stay physically connected as you age, tell us in the comments. Your voice matters, especially to those still searching for theirs. Number 7, your immune system. Weakens, the invisible shield you didn't know you lost. When Linda caught her third cold in 6 months, she started to wonder what was wrong. She ate well, walked every morning, even took her multivitamins like clockwork. But still, runny nose, sore throat, low energy, over and over again. Her blood work looked fine. Her doctor said it was just age, Juan. But when I asked her a different kind of question about touch, closeness, intimacy, her face changed. She hadn't been touched in over a year. Not a hug, not a hand on the back, not even a brush of fingers at the dinner table. What most people don't realize is this: your immune system doesn't just rely on medicine and nutrition. It also depends on connection. Regular sexual activity, even gentle and infrequent, boosts levels of immunoglobulin A, IgA, a powerful antibody that protects against colds, infections, and viruses. It also helps regulate hormones, lowers inflammation, and supports overall cellular health. Without that physical connection, the immune system slowly dulls. You don't notice it right away, but you get sick more often. Recovery takes longer. You feel run down even after a good night's sleep. I tell my patients, think of intimacy as a kind of emotional nutrition. It feeds your immune system. Touch signals safety to the brain. Safety tells the body to heal. That's how we're wired. Linda didn't need stronger medicine. She needed warmth. After joining a local seniors yoga group, where hands met hands, eyes met eyes, her health improved. Fewer colds, more energy. Her smile came back, and so did her resilience. Human touch isn't just comforting. It's immunological. Want to keep your defenses strong, mind, body, and soul? Stay connected. Tap subscribe to learn how connection changes everything as we age. And if you've ever noticed how touch has helped or hurt your health, share your story in the comments. You never know who needs to hear it. Number 8, the body forgets. Use it or lose it. Raymond had been a healthy man his whole life. No major illnesses. Still walked 2 miles a day. But when he finally gathered the courage to get close to someone again, years after his wife passed, he found that his body didn't respond the way it used to. It wasn't just age. It was absence. Here's what they don't tell you. The human body is a living memory, especially when it comes to intimacy. And like any muscle, sexual function fades when not used. For men, this can mean weaker erections, longer arousal times, or reduced sensitivity. For women, it may show up as vaginal dryness, discomfort, or loss of elasticity. These aren't just hormonal changes. They're adaptive responses. The body learns what it's taught. When intimacy vanishes, it begins to shut those systems down, gently, quietly, but surely. And that loss creates a cruel cycle. The discomfort leads to avoidance. The avoidance worsens the condition. Before long, even the idea of reconnecting feels overwhelming. But here's the truth I share with every patient like Raymond. Your body remembers too, it just needs time. Gentle forms of connection, touch, cuddling, massage, even self-exploration can help reactivate those dormant systems. Blood flow returns, nerve endings wake up, hormones begin to stir. You don't need to leap back into full intimacy. Start with presence, curiosity, trust. Intimacy is not just performance, it's communication between skin and soul. And yes, it may feel awkward at first, but awkwardness is a sign of beginning, not failure. Raymond didn't fix everything in a week, but he began. He talked to his doctor. He talked to his new partner. They laughed through the awkwardness, and eventually they found a rhythm, one built not on the past, but on grace and intention. Want your body to remember what it's capable of? Begin gently, but begin. Click subscribe if you're ready to reclaim this part of life and help others do the same. And if you've walked this road or are just starting, share your story below. It's never too late for healing, and your courage can light the way for someone else. Number 9, relationships become more fragile when closeness becomes distance. Margaret and Bill had been together for almost 50 years. They raised kids, built a life, shared losses, and leaned on each other more times than they could count. But lately they felt like strangers, friendly, polite, cooperative, but distant. Like roommates in a quiet house, waiting for something neither could name. They still loved each other. That wasn't the issue. What had gone missing was closeness, and not just physical touch, but the kind of intimacy that makes two people feel like one. What many couples don't realize is this. When physical intimacy fades, emotional distance often follows, not out of malice or neglect, but out of habit. One missed kiss becomes a week without one. One unspoken feeling becomes a wall neither wants to cross. Over time, even the strongest relationships begin to drift. Laughter quiets, spontaneity disappears, conversations shrink to logistics, bills, groceries, the weather. And what was once a bond built on passion and partnership becomes a functional arrangement. I've seen it again and again, couples who never fought, yet woke up one day feeling unloved. Not because the love was gone, but because the ways they used to show it had faded. Sex isn't the only glue in a relationship, but it's one of the strongest forms of emotional affirmation. It says, I choose you, still, now, even after all this time. Without that reinforcement, doubts can creep in. Do they still want me? Am I still enough? Silence grows, resentment festers, and soon even simple acts of affection feel forced or forgotten. But here's the hope. Connection can be rebuilt. Not perfectly, not instantly, but honestly. Margaret and Bill didn't reignite passion overnight. They started by holding hands again, sharing coffee in silence, sitting a little closer on the porch. And slowly, the bridge rebuilt itself. Don't wait for distance to define your relationship. Choose closeness again. If this story resonated, take a second to subscribe. This channel is here to help love last through the years. And if you've ever lost or rediscovered connection, tell us in the comments. Someone out there might need your story more than you know. Number 10, heart health suffers when love stops moving through the veins. Everett never worried much about his heart. He ate decently, walked when the weather was nice, kept his stress low. But after his wife passed and he stopped being physically intimate with anyone, things began to change. He noticed his blood pressure creeping up. Climbing stairs left him winded. His chest felt heavy, not in pain, but in pressure. A dull weight. His cardiologist ran the tests. The numbers weren't alarming, but they weren't great either. Normal aging, they said. But Everett didn't feel normal. He felt less alive. Here's the thing, sexual activity is more than emotional. It's cardiovascular. During intimacy, the body experiences a gentle workout. The heart rate increases, blood vessels expand, circulation improves. It's like a low-impact aerobic session, but one that includes connection, pleasure, and presence. Regular intimacy has been shown to lower blood pressure, improve blood flow, and support the flexibility of arteries. It reduces inflammation and triggers a cascade of heart-healthy hormones. Not only that, but the emotional closeness it fosters can lower stress, the hidden enemy of heart health. When intimacy disappears, the heart loses one of its natural protectors. Stress builds, inflammation rises, blood vessels stiffen, and over time, the risk for cardiovascular disease increases, not because someone stopped exercising, but because they stopped connecting. Everett didn't realize the depth of that connection until he started seeing someone again. It wasn't just about the physical touch. It was the laughter, the anticipation, the feeling of being wanted again. His heart, not just emotionally, but literally responded. He felt lighter, stronger, more mobile. And at his next checkup, even his doctor raised an eyebrow at the improved numbers. Intimacy is a reminder to the heart, you're still here, still capable of rhythm, warmth, and movement. If your heart has been feeling heavy, don't ignore the weight. Reach for what keeps it beating strong. Click subscribe if you want more life-affirming insights on aging well. And if love has helped heal your heart, or if you're still searching for that spark, share in the comments below. Your story might help someone else find their way back to life. Closing message, you're still here, and that still matters. Ying is not a departure, it's a return to what truly matters. In a world that tells us intimacy has an expiration date, we forget that connection isn't just something we once had. It's something we still deserve. The truth is simple. You have not aged out of love or desire or closeness. You have not lost your right to be touched, to be seen, to be wanted, not as who you once were, but as who you are now. Your body may be quieter, but it still remembers. Your heart may beat slower, but it still longs. And your spirit, it still knows how to open, how to heal, how to begin again. If today's message stirred something in you, a memory, a longing, a sense of possibility, hold on to it. Let it move you towards something new. Maybe it's a conversation, a soft gesture, a new chapter. Whatever it is, start small, but start, because you are not forgotten. You are not finished. You are still here, and that still matters. If this video touched you, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you won't miss the next conversation we'll share together. We're building something real here, a space of truth, tenderness, and courage. Thank you for spending these moments with me. And wherever you are on this journey, may you find warmth, joy, and connection still waiting ahead. Take care. Until next time.